It's freaking January and I'm still wicked pilled. Also, I did a new blush. Today I put my blush here instead of down. Let me know what you think. I did do a lot of highlighter. I am starting to realize. Like, my boyfriend was like, "You're so shiny." And I was like, "Okay, thank you." That's what I was going for. But like, no, I did put a lot. I put a lot. So today we're going to be doing a discussion video. I have not done one of these in a long time, and this is a topic that I've actually talked about before, my anti-intellectualism video, but I don't know how I feel about that video because if you haven't saw, someone took my thumbnail and they used it for their video, and they were like talking about anti-intellectualism and on booktube, and they took other booktubers videos. And personally, I don't like to do that, and I am gonna do that for this video, but it's more so in the fact of like an agreement, and like I'm not telling this person you're wrong. So like that's why I feel okay with doing that. So just in case you're like, girl, you're a hypocrite, because I did talk about that like in like a vlog or something. Like, it literally made me feel like shit that someone like took my video and used it for a thumbnail, and I don't like to do that to people, like use their videos for thumbnails and for clickbait, all that stuff. I don't personally like to do that. If you like to do that, like if you like it, I love it. I don't like to do it because it made me feel like shit. I don't want nobody else to feel like shit. So yeah, but I am going to be using a video, and so today we're going to be talking about this conversation that has been going on TikTok. I do have a TikTok, and I made a TikTok originally saying that like I kind of don't care to touch on this conversation, but then I was like telling Mika about it because she didn't know, and I was telling her about it, and I was like, no, I think I actually do care. I think I actually do want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it on TikTok because like I don't like talking on TikTok. Everyone's saying the same things. I think that some people are misconstruing the point on purpose, and also like this video is talking about booktok, and so if you upload a video talking about booktok, like they don't want to hear what you're saying, obviously. And so anyways, I'm gonna insert the video here so that you can watch it.
I do not trust you little bitches on booktok and your stupid Kindle Unlimited book recommendations talking about this is 5 stars, this is one of the best books I've ever read. Meanwhile, when I was 12 years old, I was reading One Direction fan fiction written by someone whose first language was not English on Wattpad, and it was still better written than half of the shit I'm seeing pushed out on booktok. I'm gonna be the bitch and say it. Some of you need to go back to a high school level literature class because the lack of reading comprehension that I am seeing is scary. Talking about Guild or whatever the fuck it's called is a literary masterpiece. Almost as if when authors are using actual literary devices and, I don't know, nuance, not spelling things out for us like we're first graders, that I see a lot of the sentiment on social media being, it was too confusing and too convoluted. Critical thinking, babes. Learn how to do it. I love a little fun romantasy vibe as much as the next girl. Like, romantasy is one of my favorite genres. However, that does not mean that it has to be poorly written. And I'm just gonna say it, not everyone should have their book published.
And she also uploaded this follow-up video that I'm also gonna insert so that you can watch that as well.
Was my delivery nice? No. Do my points still stand? Yes. So let's be clear about what I did and did not say. Did I say that you're not allowed to enjoy the books that you do? No. People, myself included, read for escapism and comfort and fantasy, and that's wonderful. Enjoyment was never the issue. What I said is that not every enjoyable book needs to be framed as a literary masterpiece, and that we need to start holding authors and publishers and content creators to higher standards. Popularity, pleasure, and quality are not the same thing. And when we stop distinguishing between them, standards drop, not just for readers, but for the entire publishing industry. That is how we end up with rushed books, trope-first writing, grammatical errors, AI-written books, and stories optimized for virality instead of craft. Lapsing those categories lowers the bar for what publishers invest in and protect. This is not elitism, it is discernment. And the more shallow that we accept writing to be, the more that it can be easily replaced with AI. Fiction is not just for entertainment, it teaches empathy and history and politics and so many other important things when it's well written. Could I have given the delivery of that video politely? Sure, but do you think 3 million of you would be joining in on this dialogue if I had? If you're still here right now, if you're following me right now, this conversation is for you. Critique is part of loving something. Those of you asking right now, I'm currently rereading Wuthering Heights, obviously ahead of the movie adaptation, and The Courage to be Disliked.
Agree with what she's saying. I've made a video about anti-intellectualism. All these things that she is saying, I have also said before. Like the fact that like I think that booktok is popularizing a lot of the things because they did not read like Wattpad and like terrible fan fiction when they were 12, and so they don't know what like bad or good writing is. And when you're reading for the first time, when you haven't read when you were younger, like you think that everything is so good. Oh my gosh, there was a video that I was gonna do where I was gonna read my favorite Wattpad books for a video, like reread my favorite books. When I tell you, I opened up some of those books and was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Sentence structure, terrible. Grammar, terrible. Spelling errors, like literally, I don't even know how the fuck I was reading that. Sometimes when you want romance and you just want it bad, you don't even care what you're reading. And so if you've never had that phase, of course, when you are reading something for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. But I think the difference, the difference between published books and Wattpad is that these books are published, these authors are getting paid to write these things. Where Wattpad, it was free. These were teenagers. We were the same age, okay? You were also 12 writing this shit, and that's why when they were writing about high school, you would be like, oh my gosh, this is so accurate to high school. Neither of us are in high school. We don't know what high school is like. So what are you talking about? And so that, I think, is where the difference comes in at, because like these are authors getting paid to write these things. This should be your job. I made a video also about how like a lot of people talk about that they don't care about spelling errors in their books or whatever, which I find fucking insane, because these books are being published. That means that someone's not doing their job, the editor. And so it may not be the author's fault. The author doesn't have to like edit this, but that means that someone is not doing their job. And so these books are getting pushed out and you're paying 20, because we have like the tariffs have brought the books back. I don't know where that girl, I don't know if y'all saw that video on TikTok. There was this girl who were like, oh my gosh, when like Trump became president, she was like, oh my gosh, $10 paper books are back. And I thought she was in high school. It turns out she's a whole ass grown woman and genuinely thought that like Trump was gonna lower. I literally have a book that's like a $20 paperback book in my cart right now. So it's like these books are expensive. A hardcover, that there was a book called Silver Elite that was released. I was gonna do a video about it, but I decided not to, just because I didn't want to read it. I was gonna read it for a video. I read one chapter. I said, I'm getting the fuck up out of here. This shit is terrible. I don't even want to sit through this for a video. And so Silver Elite, it had a bunch of spelling errors in the first chapter, mind you. Bunch of spelling errors, bunch of grammatical errors. $27. 27. 27 $27. Spelling errors, grammatical errors, like, and people were like, oh yeah, like I don't care that it has that. I'm sorry, what? This is your job. Somebody is not doing their job and you're rewarding them. I 100% like agree with that video. I definitely get what she's saying. And one book she talked about in specific was Guild, which I have read. And a lot of people always say that, like, people who are fans of the book always say that you have to like get through the first book and it'll get good. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. It's literally copy and paste Sarah J Maas. That's my issue with Romantasy, is every single Romantasy book is literally just Sarah J Maas, like something she's done. I mean, Sarah J Maas herself has copied other people. She's been around long enough to where like those other books are like super old, which like I just don't know. But it's just like, it's just crazy to me. It was like a Sarah J Maas like bait and switch type of thing, like romance wise. Sorry if that's like a spoiler. The books aren't good, I'm sorry. But I also have like a friend who uploaded a video and she's like sometimes we have jobs that are like really hard and it requires a lot of like brain work, and so when we come off of work we don't want to have to like sit there and read something that's gonna take a lot of brain, which like I understand, but I also feel like it's insulting to those authors, because it's basically saying like, yeah, I know this work is shit and it'll never be good, but I'm not reading it for it to be good. I don't really give a fuck. Like, I personally think that that's still like a backhanded compliment. These are all things that I've talked about like in videos before. That's, I just want to discuss it because everyone on TikTok is discussing it, so why not just bring it to BookTube to discuss it? I love to discuss, I love to yap, I love to talk. I've already been talking for like 7 minutes now. Like, okay, so I agree with what she was saying. I think that the delivery, people were calling her aggressive. I found it corny. I don't like that whole like boss bitch like aggressive personality, and like I used to be that person back when I first started BookTube, because it gets people's attention. And like literally in her second video she said that like, do you think that if I would have said it nicer, do you think 3 million people would have watched this video? which, like, yeah, she's correct. And she also found like her people, like people who believe that they are super intellectual and what they read is so much better than whatever people have to offer, and they found like a place to go, and I really respect that. Also, this girl is really pretty, by the way. I also want to say that. But I don't disagree with what she's saying. I don't think that, and I think that publishing, and I've been talking about this, and I think a reason why I'm like beating a dead horse and repeating the same things I've already said in other videos, because like I think that this is really important. Like I do think that publishers are getting super lazy. There's a video that another booktuber made about like editing, and she actually knows what she was talking about, but she was just saying that like people are editings are getting higher less, and then with AI, girl, we're going downhill. So I think it's important to talk about these things as much as possible. I just think that like uploading on TikTok was kind of just like, I mean, she found her audience of people who's also gonna upset people, but like those people don't want to hear what you have to say. Like, to be honest, they want to keep reading their fucking their Sarah J Maas regurgitated books. I don't know how people, like, I understand like if you like something and you want something similar, so you read something similar to that, but I don't understand reading 12 of the same books back to back to back. Like, how are you not tired? And especially because like these like romantasy books, like, I just think that romantasy is bad, so I'm going to use romantasy as an example because I just think that romantasy is bad. I am a fan of romance. You will never catch me shitting on romance. I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck. Like, I love romance. I think that romance can be really deep. I think that romance can teach you a lot of lessons. It doesn't just have to be, I think that like I love Emily Henry. I was telling my best friend Mika earlier today, like one of my favorite Emily Henry books is Funny Story, because it is a book about a girl who, a woman who is 30 and she's about to get married, and she just thinks that her life is together because society tells you that when you're 30 you need to be married, and she doesn't get married, and she's now 30 living in a different state. She has to learn how to be 30 and make friends, and that book meant so much to me because I am someone who didn't have friends coming out of high school. So I had to learn how to make friends as an adult, and it's still hard, and it's still something I struggle with, and I deeply relate to Funny Story because of that reason. Like, romances can be deep. Romances can have lessons outside of romance. Book Lovers by Emily Henry is also one of my favorites because it's about being an older sister and just like the struggles that come with an older sister, and something that only older sisters will understand, because like other people who aren't older sisters, they're going to tell her she doesn't have to put up with that. But it's like when you're an older sister, that unless you cut your family off cold turkey, that's just not possible. And so like romances can be deep. Romances can talk about things outside of romance. Romantasy, however, I feel like I have not read a romantasy. And when I say romantasy, I'm talking about anything after like 2020, because romantasy is not a new genre, it just has a new phrase. So when I say romantasy, I'm talking about things that come after 2020, and Sarah J Maas, because she's kind of like the queen of romantasy and everyone copies her, and also Fourth Wing, but that came out after 2020, right? And so with romantasy, it's like they're not talking about shit, and not saying that fantasy has to talk about things, it really doesn't. I mean, it can, but like it really doesn't. But like it doesn't have any world building. The romances, I think, are half-assed. Like it'll be like, this book is enemies to lovers, and then they get together within the same book, within the first book, and there's no actual, like, he doesn't try to kill her or anything like that. Like, it's no actual enemies to lovers. You know, I haven't read a true enemies to lovers in literal years, and people will recommend books and be like, this was enemies to lovers, and then you'll read it and you're like, no, this wasn't. Slow burn does not exist. It's either circumstances that's like putting these characters off to where they can't be together when they should be together by like book 3, but it's just stuff keep happening so they can't be together or whatever. But it's like these tropes that like these brands are like saying exist doesn't really exist. And so it's like you're getting like the same like shadow daddy like type of guy, and they all read like Reeson from ACOTAR, and they all have this like bait and switch, and it's just like it's like the same thing over and over again. Like, I've talked about this before if you've seen any of my other videos. And so I personally think that these conversations are important to have, because I think publishing needs to know that like not everybody, and it's like, but I also get it, like publishing is going where the people are. Like, people are buying these books in mass. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, I just went to the bookstore for the first time in years and it's just all this slop. And it's like, you can't go to a bookstore and be mad that the people that they're pandering to are the people that they actually buy their books. You haven't been to a bookstore in years, but you're mad that they're pandering to the people that go there every fucking day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I get it. These people are buying these books, so of course they're gonna keep getting published. It just really sucks that it's like publishing is the issue here. And yes, also the readers, because readers are why publishing, like, if we all start reading this shit, publishing is gonna be like, oh fucking K, like, let's also do this. And also I think blaming Kindle Unlimited is like kind of funny though, because it's like once a book, like, I don't really, like, these are indie authors, like, I can't be mad that people are reading indie authors. Like, it's when they get published, because the publishers aren't doing anything to change it. Like, they're not editing it super well. Oh my gosh, my biggest issue with these books is a lot of these books are so fucking long and don't need to be. I love From Blood and Ash. Why is that book like 600 pages? When I tell you a good chunk of it is literally a bunch of nothing, and it's obvious that Jennifer L. Armentrout was just writing stuff because she wanted a 600-page book. And it's like, you don't need to have that. Like, it doesn't, a 600-page book doesn't really mean anything. So it's just like very obvious, like, what these authors are trying to do when they write these, like, when they write like certain stuff. It's like very obvious. But like, I don't blame Kindle Unlimited for that. It's when a book gets picked up from Kindle Unlimited, a self-published author, because not self-published and Kindle Unlimited aren't one thing. So when a self-published author like gets picked up, I'm not gonna blame the audience. I'm gonna blame the publishers, because you should be hiring an editor, but they're not. They're not. A lot of this stuff do not be getting edited the fuck out. There's a book that I read for a video. I think it's called like Nocturna or something like that. Is that the book? I don't fucking know. It was fucking dumb as hell. And I read the unpublished version and the published version, and when I tell you there wasn't much of a difference between the both. It was just spelling errors were fixed, and there's an issue. There was one thing in that book that was fixed where the author didn't refer to the main male character by his name a lot of the times. Like, the main character would just go him, and I would be like, who the fuck is she talking about? Like, usually when a character like walks into a room, they say like the character who's talking so that we know who's talking. But like, it didn't do that, and I was just like, okay, so who the fuck are we talking about here? Like, what's going on? But like, other than that, like, no, I don't even know. Yeah, I just wanted to share my 2 cents. I don't necessarily disagree. I do wish that people would read better and like read, but I don't know, I'm not gonna personally. I didn't hate the video. Like, she definitely gagged and she was aggressive. I just feel like I don't like to make people feel like shit. Basically, that's my thing. Like, even when I talk about people who like these things, I'm not pointing out anyone in particular. I'm not talking in an aggressive tone, mainly because I'm a black woman. So the moment my voice sounds a little bit aggressive, like, people are going to be on my ass calling me aggressive. I don't even like referring to other people as aggressive, because I used to get called aggressive all the time. When really I just get super, I don't know. But yeah, I just really want to upload this video because I'm trying to see like what people want from me. If they want these like discussion videos where I talk about like what's currently going on in like social media, rather that be like drama or whatever, and like how good this video would do, because like my video essays a few years ago would do pretty good. And so but then people were saying that like they didn't like that kind of content. Like, my actual subscribers were saying that they didn't like that kind of content. And so I'm just trying to see like I don't want to start pandering to other people and lose sight of like my actual subscribers. So I just want to see like what people care about. Like, I upload vlogs, and so this year I'm just trying to see like what kind of content I want to start like making and stuff like that. So I'm filming like a bunch of stuff, and we'll see what fucking sticks. But yeah, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.